Welcome everyone. Welcome to the second, right? Yeah, second week of the Thanksgiving months this month. Sorry, in case you didn't know, so I just got to DC today, so I just flew in earlier today and trying to get settled, and my brain is just kind of all over the place right now. But anyways, welcome to the second week of the Thanksgiving box. We are staying in Italy. We're in Italy last week with our Lambrusco. And then we are tasting this guy. 2023 Stefano Rossotto Nonno Nado Freisa di Chieri is what we're tasting today. It has a little grandpa's face on the label. But yeah. I don't really have a whole lot of announcements today. It's just that Case Club is closing tomorrow. So if you are planning on participating in Case Club, get your orders in now. So that's all the Central European wines that we tasted last month. There are a few fun ones that were not in the box in there as well. So yeah, if you want to get the order in, get that order in right now, because I'm closing that tomorrow. But that's really the only. Oh yeah, and then the invoices went out this week, and I'm gonna wrap it all up next week. So it's a week of turnaround time. So if you're planning on joining us, go ahead and take care of that invoice. If you're not, just let me know, so I can skip you out of it. But this is always a perennial favorite. It's a sparkling box. It's a New Year's Eve sparkling box. If you are planning on sitting one out, maybe this is not it. But anyways, you decide. But you just let me know.
I'm already in.
All right. In case you're joining now, we're tasting this guy with a grandpa on the label. 2023 Stefano Rossotto Nonno Nado Freisa di Chieri is what we're tasting today. All right, start with the map. All right, here's the map. Should look familiar. You guys have seen this map many times. But Italy. So we were in Emilia-Romagna last week, right? We tasted that Lambrusco. That came just outside of Modena, just north of Modena here. And this week we're going up further up into the mountains, and we are in Piedmont or Piemonte, depending on how you want to pronounce that. But yeah, we've had a Piedmont box together here. We did not have a Freisa in the box at the time. But yeah, it's always been one of my kind of if you ask me, it's kind of like a charmer grape of the region. I haven't had that many Freisas in my life, but of the ones I had, I've always enjoyed it. So when I came across this one, I thought it was particularly fun. So here we go. Anyways, here you go, Piedmont. Arguably one of the most acclaimed, probably the most well-known, quote unquote, the best quality wines of Italy come from here, right? I mean, when people think about Italian wine, first thing probably that comes to mind is Chianti, right? A lot of Tuscany wines or Tuscan wines, Chianti, Brunello, and things like that. But just as a sought after, just as a well-known, if not even more well-known, I would say across the board in general, there's I mean, that's not true. Both regions, there are some producers that command some ridiculously high premium prices on their wines. But really, when we're talking about Piedmont, probably the regions that come to you are regions like Barolo, Barbaresco. So this is where it comes from. I mean, this is essentially the mountain region, right? So we got the Apennine Mountain, which is the kind of the backbone of Italy that runs all the way from north, going all the way through the entire country, right? So this Apennine Mountain that comes up to the kind of southern end of the southern end, eastern and southern end of Piemonte, and then you got the Alps coming down from north, right? Here's the Swiss Alps, here's the French Alps, and here's the Italian Alps. So you got the Alps up the top. So we're talking about place. Oh, and then there's a Po River, which is a mighty Po River that runs through here. So there's a lot of different kind of influences that come through here, but it makes for one of the really dynamic and really interesting wine regions in the world. A lot of it is also, I mean, outside of Burgundy. I mean, to me, Piedmont is Italian's answer to Burgundy, right? Because Burgundy is basically what we're talking about. Burgundy, we're talking about Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, right? And it's really this concept of terroir, right? This sense of place, how this one particular region is different from the other, this one particular vineyard is different from the other. All that kind of a concept of a sense of place and a wine of place. All that is really particularly true in Burgundy because everything is made with the same variety. I mean, there are some more varieties available here, but really when we're talking about Piedmont, we're really talking about Nebbiolo, right? So Barbaresco, Barolo, both are Nebbiolo-based red wines, and a lot of different kind of aspects, regions, sub-vineyards, sub-regions are all planted to Nebbiolo. So this is another really good place to kind of really geek out and study what different factors and things in farming and the vineyards can really affect in soil type and climate and microclimate and all that can really affect the final style of the wine. So for wine nerds, this is definitely one of those places where people kind of spend their lifetime really trying to master, trying to taste one vineyard next to another and really trying to understand what makes them special. But of Italy's 20 major wine regions, it ranks 6th in production volume. So not only is it quality-wise one of the best, but it's also a pretty significant player in terms of actual wine production. So definitely is an important player in the Italian wine scene. But yeah, that's where we are today. Within the Piedmont or Piemonte, there's 59 sub-regions, which are right here. So this is kind of what the wine region breaks down, right? So here's Turin, here's Asti, there's the Genoa, Milan is up here, right? So as you can see, the Alps run through the north going out, and then the Alpine mountain comes up from the south and the east and comes up. So it's kind of sandwiched in between. So as obviously as you go up on these hillsides is where you're going to find a lot of the best vineyards. But yeah, you get a lot of different kind of aspects and whatnot. But anyways, where we are is Piedmont, and especially here, we're in a region called Monferrato. It's kind of divided into Monferrato, Langhe. This map doesn't really lay it all out. I should have gotten a less specified map, but it's basically up here is Monferrato. So we got a Monferrato within Piedmont, and then within that, really where we are is Freisa di Chieri, which is right here, just east of Turin, is where we are this week. The winery is, I believe, is actually in Collina Torinese. It's actually in the town of Cinzano, which is, I'm sure if you've been to any bar these days, there's a bottle of Cinzano vermouth somewhere, and it's everywhere in the grocery store. That's where that vermouth comes from. But yeah, the winery is in the Stefano Rossotto wineries in Cinzano, but they have vineyards holdings across in Cinzano as well as in Freisa di Chieri. And this particular bottle does come from Freisa di Chieri, which is, it says right in the label in the front, Freisa di Chieri. This is actually a DOC level wine. So just know that it all comes from right here. There are 2 DOCs dedicated to Freisa, the grape variety, Freisa di Chieri and Freisa di Asti. So this is another region right here. The Freisa di Chieri was established in 1973, and it legally requires 90% of it to be Freisa. So if you ever come across Freisa di Chieri, you know that oftentimes it's a varietal, it's 100% varietal, but legally speaking, it only needs to be 90%, and the 10% can be something else. Sometimes this one is not it, but sometimes you will see Freisa di Chieri Superiore, requires minimum, requires a longer aging and a higher alcohol percentage. So minimum of 1 year, including 6 months in barrels. The grape variety Freisa, in case you were wondering, I think Charles made a mention about this last week, but Freisa derives its name from a Latin word Freisa, which meaning strawberry. And a lot of wines made from Freisa grapes have a lot of these kind of strawberry, red berries, and all of that, and I assume that's where the name comes from. But it is named after the Latin word Freisa, which means strawberry. Oftentimes, I've read that like it's actually pretty common to find Freisa in a frizzante style, which is kind of what we have today in this region. But of all the Freisa I've had, I've actually never been to Piedmont, by the way. I'm dying to go. But all the Freisa that I've had in the States, I've tried, have always been a dry still Freisa. And I picked this one particularly because it was different and it was a frizzante, and I thought it was a fun. But I guess the typical style you do find here is actually frizzante, the slightly sparkling. But yeah, so this is what that looks like. Just imagine, I mean, look at this map. You know, look at all these different subregions. There are 58 different subregions within it, and each within this region is also different vineyard sites in there. So just imagine how many different permutations and how many different places you can really dissect this region. It's kind of why it's fun for wine nerds. By the way, it's a beautiful region. This is Monferrato. So this is essentially what the region looks like. I mean, just look at that, you know. This is the Alps in the background. And then basically this is on the top of Alpine hills, the top of the mountains that came up. So the Alpine mountain that comes up through the Italy with the Alps in the background. So, I mean, if those of you, I know a lot of you are mountain elevation wine people, and no wonder if you are into that kind of wine, that this region speaks to you because of, yeah, I mean, just look at how beautiful that is. All right, let's talk about who makes this wine. So the winer's name is Stefano Rossotto, but it all started with this gentleman right here on the right. Ferdinando Rossotto is a great-grandfather, the first generation. Rossotto family was working as farmers for the priest of Cinzano, but it all changed when this gentleman right here, Ferdinando, planted his first vineyard in 1923. The same year, their son Aldo was born, and the farmhouse where they lived was renovated to best fit the wine production. So they really kind of did a switch from farming other things. They do farm other things right now too, but basically the real focus is on the winemaking. The farming is really just for the family. They're not really doing a commercial operations. But initially they started as farmers, and then they really did a pivot to a viticulture, and it all started with this gentleman right here. Phylloxera destroyed the family vineyards like many others in Italy. They basically had to completely replant, uproot all the vineyards that he planted and replant in 1945 with American rootstocks or Vitis vinifera that was grafted onto American rootstock, because that's the only stock that's resistant to phylloxera. And then this gentleman, Aldo, which is a second generation of Rossotto, was born on the same day that he actually planted the first vineyard. So this is the second generation that worked his son. And then Aldo had two sons, but I don't have the older son's picture. I have Stefano, which is this gentleman right here. Stefano Rossotto, which is what this winery is named after. And you may be wondering, why is it that it's named after a third generation of Rossotto, not the first generation? But it's because really they had to uproot all the rootstocks that came out, had to be replanted. And then really this idea of Stefano Rossotto as a brand name really didn't start until the region, the Freisa, Chieri, and as well as the Torino Colonnese got their own DOC status, which was during the 60s. And that's when which was during Stefano's heydays. And so Stefano was the one who really turned it into a commercial kind of a brand and named the winery after himself, but kept the family name. So yeah, in the 60s when the Rossotto brand was born, the Stefano Rossotto brand was born. But know that this family has been farming and making wine here since 1923, so over a century. Today, the fourth generation Rossottos are making wine and deploying modern winemaking technology, but always have respect to tradition. So this is kind of what the winery looks like. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but pretty clean. They got the cement tank behind. And then this is a autoclave. So this is essentially what this wine is made in. So this is not just a stainless steel tank. I mean, it's a stainless steel tank, but there's a special fittings and welding and then the thickness here to make sure that it can withstand a great pressure, because this is how this wine became sparkling, because it's made in here under pressure. So they farm 10 hectares making wine, working with the native varieties like Freisa, Barbera, Bonarda, and then they also have some Malvasia as well. And then they're all aged in an 18th century cellar beneath the family villa, where they also run bed and breakfast as well. The importer who imports this wine is the sole importer for the whole U.S., and they're based out of Baltimore. And they visited the property and they said that bed and breakfast, the property is actually really nice. So if you guys ever get a chance to go to Piedmont, they highly recommend that you take a visit and maybe even stay there. This is, by the way, Freisa. This is what the grape bunch looks like. And in case if you're familiar with what Nebbiolo looks like, it looks very awfully a lot like Nebbiolo. In fact, it's very hard to kind of discern between them, and it's not by mistake. So Freisa, close but little known, kind of relative to Nebbiolo. It's a bit wilder and more rustic kind of Nebbiolo, if you ask me. The way I think about it is kind of like Gamay to Pinot Noir is Freisa to Nebbiolo. And I know a lot of you get that analogy, and the fact that you get that analogy, it makes me beam with pride in this wine club that you know what that means. But yeah, so think of Freisa as kind of like a little bit more kind of a feral cousin of Nebbiolo, but it's actually not a cousin. So I've actually found out, I didn't know this until today, but DNA testing actually show that they share a parent-offspring connection, and most likely, or more than likely, Freisa is actually one of Nebbiolo's parent grapes. So yeah, one of the great noble varieties of Piedmont, Nebbiolo, is actually Freisa's offspring. So something to think about. The parent gets no love, and then the child gets all the limelight. All right. They share a lot of similarities. I don't know how many of you guys have had Freisa before, but they're both kind of a really light ruby in color. They also are quite both tannic, high in tannin and structure, and anthocyanin. I'm sorry. What am I trying to say? Polyphenolics and phenolics, as well as natural acidity, which makes one of the reasons why Nebbiolo has become such a noble grape is because it's able to age for a long, long time. And Freisa, even though it can be made into this kind of frizzante, really fresh style, but it can also be made into a style where it can be aged for a while because naturally it is tannic and it has high acid and all of that. And I don't know if you can smell that as well, but just like Nebbiolo, what Nebbiolo is really known for is just like this really like ethereal perfume, this like really deeply expressive and a perfumed wine. Freisa is also capable of doing a lot of that. The only thing where it kind of splits a room, Freisa splits a room, is that Freisa is so much higher in the phenolics than Nebbiolo, that oftentimes you can get some of these kind of like phenolic bitterness if you're not careful with extraction and then letting it sit on the skins or stems too long. So that can also happen. But like I mentioned, most Freisa that I've had in the States have been dry still wines. So I've always thought this was kind of an unusual, kind of a rare kind of a thing. But apparently you can find the frizzante style quite often in Piedmont, which is from what I've read today. Anyway, so this is 100% Freisa, grown on about 1,300 feet in elevation, about 20 years old, grown on clay and limestone, all organically and sustainably farmed. It does get destemmed, which tells you that they're not trying to extract a lot of tannin or phenolics. They're really trying to keep it into about the fruit profile. Soft pressing. Again, you got to handle these grapes really gently. Otherwise, you can easily extract too much tannin, too much phenolics. The wine turns really bitter. Wine turns too tannic. All of that. So destemmed and soft pressing. The first fermentation happens in a stainless steel tank. And then the second fermentation, so this goes through two fermentations. So first fermentation, stainless steel tank. Second one is in that stainless steel autoclave that I showed you through a method called Martinotti method, or also known as Charmat method, which is the same method that Prosecco is made through. So essentially, Prosecco goes through 2 fermentation to get bubbles into the wine, right? So you make the first base wine, oftentimes in a stainless steel. The whole point of this is to really preserve the natural freshness, the youthful kind of aromas, fruit character of the wine. It's not like a champagne or traditional method where you're trying to age it on lees for a long time and trying to impart this kind of savory, oxidative, autolytic kind of notes. Rather than that, this is the Charmat or Martinotti method is all about kind of keeping that freshness of the fruit. So first fermentation in stainless steel tank just to keep that freshness. And the second one is then that stainless steel, the autoclave, where they actually add, oftentimes they will add sugar and yeast just to restart the second fermentation where, right, all the gas can't go anywhere because it's capped under a tank. But in this case, he actually uses the saved must from the first fermentation. So he keeps a portion of the must from the first fermentation. I would imagine that he either freezes it or keeps it really freaking cold so it doesn't ferment. And then he throws it into the wine after the first fermentation is fully done. And then it restarts the fermentation. And then all the CO2 that's produced during that has nowhere to go. So it gets dissolved into the wine. And then that's how this wine becomes sparkling. And that's exactly the same way the Prosecco is made. And it's not super, I would call this frizzante. I wouldn't even call this full sparkling or espumante. I mean, it's just ever so lightly sparkling. It's not meant to be, as you can see, this is in a cork enclosure. It's not in a, caged or crown cap either. Yeah, and only 5,000 cases are made, or 5,000 bottles are made. So we're talking about really, really small production. By the way, Nonno, the name of the wine, is a line of wines created in honor of Grandpa Nando, the Ferdinando, who planted the first family vineyards in 1929, which is this gentleman right here that you saw a picture of. So Grandpa Nando, who planted the first vineyards in 1923 to start making wine. And that started it all. All right, that's all I got. I mean, this one is really, we'll talk more about it once we got that tasting it, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a very straightforward, it's all about varietal character of a Freisa. It's not trying to do too much. It's not trying to impart anything other than keeping it really fresh and retain the kind of natural aromas and the flavors of the fruit. All right, any questions about anything I just went over before we taste it? Excellent. Excellent. Let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance?
I will.
All right. Excellent. Hold on. There you go. So from the top, appearance.
I think it's clear.
Yeah, I'll call this one pretty clear.
Yeah. I call it medium.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would call this about medium as well. It's like a lower end of medium. Like I can pretty clearly see all the letters in the background, but yeah, a little bit of color. So yeah, I'll call this like a medium minus medium. Yep.
I'll call this ruby.
Yeah, it's ruby for sure. Very fairly textured.
And I feel like you said we would see like little tiny bubbles, but I don't see any in mine.
Yeah, I don't really see much in the glass per se. Maybe like a little here and there. Maybe it blew off already. Again, this thing is just ever so slightly effervescent. It's not like a super frizzante even. I wouldn't even go with calling it frizzante. But yeah, so there's that. All right, you get to pick the next person for the nose.
I nailed it.
Nailed it. Crushed it.
Dana.
Dana.
Okay. I think it seems to me to be pretty clean.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's clean on its own.
Yeah.
Intensity.
Intensity, like medium minus.
Yeah, you think it's medium minus?
And maybe I'm having problems with my nose.
I mean,
Do you think it's medium plus? Yeah.
yeah, like I'm smelling.
I guess
it,
like
yeah, there's a lot. It's quite expressive to me. Like, and that's another thing about these wines, Nebbiolo Freisa. They're just like really that kind of perfume, they're really aromatic. So like to me, like here, I'm like smelling it here.
medium.
Like, yeah. Like, yeah, if you choose off the
plus?
line. So high in the
Medium plus?
medium or the medium plus. Yeah, depending on where you want to go. Obviously temperature also matters. I don't know if you guys fully chilled it or you guys kind of gave it a slight chill. I did look at the
Mine
texture.
was more slight chill. I tried to get it, but I just didn't get it fully.
Yeah, the wine, the texture does say to serve it around like 65 degrees, 60 to 65 degrees, which is, you know, slightly chilled, not like fully chilled, but yeah. So temperature probably has something to do with it as well. All right, what do you got? What do you smell?
I'm smelling very fruity. So I don't know. So are we starting up with the floral?
Yeah, start from the top. Any floral?
Maybe like violet, rose or violet.
Yeah, totally. I get some violet. I get some like
Yeah.
a purple flower kind of a thing for sure.
Yeah.
Fresh violet.
Yeah, super fresh. No real green fruit.
No green fruit.
Or citrus.
Yep.
Stone, I mean, maybe slightly like a nectarine side, but not peach or
Yeah. I don't get much
apricot.
sulfur
Not
personally.
really, but
Yeah.
maybe just like a I'm not finding any tropical fruit.
No tropical.
Red, you know, let's see, gosh. Strawberry. Why don't we go with
Yep.
red cherry, red plum.
Yep. All the red.
All the red.
Yeah. Yeah. Really like intense, like that
Yeah.
strawberry, cherry. Then like even the red flesh, the red plum. Yeah, like all of that.
Yeah.
Any black fruit?
Not so much.
Yeah, not to me either.
No.
Not so much black fruit, mostly red fruit for me.
Yeah, definitely red.
Nature of the fruit.
You know, I pick up fig if I'm gonna pick up any of the like dried cooked fruit.
Okay.
I would pick up, and I don't want to necessarily. I don't think it's jamminess, or even baked and stewed. But you know how sometimes figs can be like super.
Yeah, there's some, to me, there's a little touch of like a confectionery fruit as well here. Not necessarily jam, but like a fake strawberry. There's some of that red vine kind of vibe to it. There's some of that I get here. But yeah, like some even like, I don't know if you guys ever had, yeah, I'm sure you guys had like a strawberry soda. Like there's some of that, like a strawberry, that kind of like a berry soda kind of a deal. But
you know, Altoids now has a strawberry. It's not even a mint. I don't even know why they made it, but it's kind of like that, like so, like, you know, sweet. I don't know how to describe it. I just had it last night. It's a very odd, you know, to think of an Altoid as not, you know.
No, I think you're totally on there, because I definitely do get a little bit like menthol, something like really something little touch of herbaceous. I mean, I'm getting ahead here, but little herbaceous, mentally here. And again, this goes to that kind of all that phenolics that I was telling you about in Freisa and Nebbiolo as well. But yeah, like, oh yeah, there you go. Charles called it cherry cola.
No, yeah.
This thing, like there's that like cherry cola. You know, cola has that little bit of like the herbaceous kind of a thing. Like I get Pop Rocks. Yeah, some sort of like, I don't know. I get that like confectionery candy kind of fruit quality to it here as well. Almost like a carbonic kind of that, like you know, lifted fruit, but
Mhm.
yeah, not high tone fruit, but not like super high tone.
Yeah.
Just slightly. So a little herbaceous, I get. Any spices, any rockiness, anything here? Non-fruit things?
I'm not really getting any spicy. Like I don't. It's still very like more candy like, but you know, super sugary. Maybe wet stone slightly.
Yeah, I get some stone here. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, I guess some. I mean, it's not like it's not the
It's
most
like
mineral one out there, but
right at the end of when you like take a, when you're sniffing and you get it right at the end, the stones.
yeah, yeah. I guess some stoniness here for sure. Like to me, it's let's say like stone, but like to me, it's like some like dirt here. There's some like a roadside fruit that hasn't been fully washed kind of vibe. That makes
So,
sense.
and back to like when you were talking about where the grapes are grown in this part of Italy and Piedmont, like what is the if I'm sorry if I missed it, the terroir, is it like
The soil type?
Yeah.
So this one is grown clay and limestone.
Okay,
Which
clay and limestone. Okay.
yeah, which is found in a lot of quote unquote the best vineyard sites in the world. But Piedmont as a whole, I mean, it varies depending on where you are, depending on how close you are to Po River. It can be alluvial, it can be sand, but there are definitely pockets of a sand, that clay and limestone mixture that Burgundy is also known for. Yeah, it runs the gamut for sure. But this particular one is grown on clay and limestone. All right. Any secondary? Any tertiary?
I'm not really getting very yeasty things.
No, me neither. And you shouldn't. Again, this is sparkling. It did go through second fermentation, but it didn't sit on the lees. It's as soon as it's basically become second fermentation is done, and then the wine becomes slightly frizzante or sparkling. They just essentially bottle it, and that's this wine.
Yeah.
So
No oak,
no oak.
MLF.
Nope. None of that.
Yeah. So where are we going now?
Tertiary. Cool. So where do you get some tertiary?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not super.
I don't get any tertiary on this wine. To me, this is still very fresh. Still right up there. A lot of ton of that like fresh, really ripe fruit with some kind of like a candied, artificial kind of a fruit vibe. Also throwing in the cherry cola, I think is an excellent call. That kind of vibe thrown in there. Cool. Excellent. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
All right, here we go. Where is everyone? How about Joe?
Mr. Knubel.
Alrighty. On my phone. You guys actually hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you?
I'm on my back porch. I don't even know if I'm visible. Sorry.
No, we can see it. All right.
Be hard to see. 1 sec.
Oh wow.
So I'd say this is dry.
Yeah, I'll call this dry. This is actually even drier than I remember this. I remember this wine having just a touch more sugar. I would still call it dry in terms of in the world of wine. It was definitely under 10 grams per liter. But I just remember seeing that a little more registered sugar than this. But yeah, this is delightful. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, I would still call this dry for sure.
For acidity, it's a little hard to call. The tannin is so like ripping. It's a little hard for me to judge it. I'd say medium minus acidity. Maybe actually I call it medium. I call this medium.
This is pulling. I mean, so this is the thing about
this is kind of getting me.
Yeah.
So usually I do the teeth thing. But with Flemish tannin, but I can feel it like in my jugular. Yeah, actually, this is probably like medium plus acid.
Yeah, exactly. The Freisa, And then again, this goes to earlier what we talked about, that the perception, right? Like that relationship between sugar and acid. It's really hard for human palate to kind of really, unless you really train yourself and trying to see one thing or another over and over again, practice yourself. But like the acid is always going to seem lower when there's little sugar present in the wine, and vice versa. When the sugar is always going to seem lower when there's a lot of acid present in the wine.
I think the tannins playing that too. You know,
tannin also is in there. There's quite a bit of tannin in there as well. But yeah, this acid, just Freisa and Nebbiolo in general, both very naturally high in acid. Like you're rarely ever going to get like low, medium minus acid Nebbiolo or Freisa. It's just not possible because naturally it just has it's a low pH, high acid grape.
right.
So yeah, I'll call this medium plus. Let's talk about tannin.
Yeah, the tannins, it's pretty grippy. I call it medium plus.
Yeah.
To high. I mean, it's not like, I've had just like undrinkable tannin wine, so let's call it medium plus, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this. It's not like super high into medium, score into medium, but this to me like this is right in that lower in the medium plus, higher in the medium. But like I think I will go with the medium plus myself. There's quite a bit of grip here for sure. Like I feel it all across my entire like mouth. All right, alcohol.
I just traditionally can't judge alcohol. It all tastes like water to me. So, so I'll just call it medium.
I'm like a true professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already, my esophagus is like, Ukraine right now. It's just...
Call this like 13.5 maybe. 13 is what the label says. That's what I think. Nebbiolo and Freisa both naturally also can get a little bit high in alcohol. I'm not talking like 16% high, but it can get up to like 14.5. I have seen Nebbiolo at 15. Yeah, this one is right at 13. It drinks a little bit like 13.5 somewhere around for me, but yeah, 13.5 totally. But that still puts us right in the medium. Body.
Actually, I think it's got some body to this. I would call this like a medium plus body.
Yeah, definitely medium, kind of medium. I think I land on medium on this thing, but yeah, definitely it's got some weight. It's not just juice. Mousse, I mean, I don't know if we really need to talk about mousse. This is not.
Yeah, it's kind of the wrong,
Yeah.
unit.
It's almost like a Vino Verde, right? You know how Vino Verde has that little bit of like a fit. It's kind of like that. It's not really enough to really even talk about it as a frizzante.
We've soapboxed about this before. The grid when it comes to bubbles is just badly written.
Exactly.
It could be more made with more smarts. Yeah.
100%. It could be more demarcated, I suppose.
Yeah.
Flavor intensity.
Oh. I call it medium plus. It's got some
really expressive.
Exactly.
Do you confirm all the things that Dana called out?
Yeah, more or less. I get like some like germanium on here.
Okay.
Plum. I don't think it says red fruit. I think it's like it's a little more. The needle's a little more balanced between red and black. Then
I get a little more black on the palate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is like a more of a plummy cherry, not like, kind of a balance of both. If you threw all the red fruits and the black fruits in a pie, there you go, right?
Yeah, this is what comes. This word bramble, right? That's like, is this red fruit? Is black fruit?
I don't know what bramble is, but
yeah, that's what the British people call it. It's just like it's not red, it's not black, it's like the unidentifiable just berry. To me, this is not like that bramble. It's like a
insufferable Brits.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, on the maybe that like a cola side it comes out more. There's some like
Yeah,
herbaceous.
I like the call of cola in the chat. It's kind of got that
Yeah.
thing going on. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, in general, it's still to me predominantly more red fruit with a touch of black fruit thrown in there. That kind of herbaceous cola thing comes on, and with that comes in not only the freshness and ripeness, but some of that kind of like a candied, almost high tone kind of fruit nature that comes in here.
Mhm.
And again, not hugely like mineral driven wine, but I definitely get some like
Um,
dirt, some earth on this wine.
and I opened mine 10 minutes after you guys actually started, and it changed a lot. Like I put in the chat, like I'm not getting a nose off it, but now it's like totally changed. It's
Yeah.
very expensive. Yep.
This this tannin is fucking something. It's real. Any secondary, any tertiary?
Uh, no, I don't think so. Um, like it has a little bit of that cooked element, but I think that's just that kind of plummy, the fig call, like figs kind of come with that stewed kind of little character.
Yeah.
I agree.
Totally.
So, but yeah, I agree with the bit of fig and prune,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
like that can be kind of there without development, right? So,
so to me, this is kind of like there's a reason why this kind of variety makes sense for a region like this, right? Like mountain alpine region where there's a huge diurnal swing, especially as you go high up and in the hills. Like fruit character here, despite it being a cold alpine region, there's nothing underripe about this, right? Like it's super ripe. If anything, maybe even overripe, right? Like just popping off with a really ripe fruit. That's because all the sunlight that you get from high mountain slopes and all day just getting beat down by getting just ton of UV exposure ripens the grapes, gets the phenolics, gets the flavor ripe, and all of that. But because of all of that diurnal swing at the end of the night, it gets cold and also naturally these grapes are just kind of high in acid. Um, that like they're
right.
just searing acidity that like that exists here throughout this wine. So which is to me
That's what I
is
think, like they say all these things, they kind of, the grid sort of implies you can only get the stuff with aging. That's not true. Um, we've had stuff that has all that without aging, right? So,
yeah, totally. Um, all right, the length, the finish. How long is the length?
well, I ran out, so with my 2 drops, I would call it long length. I call
That's
it
some
medium
length.
plus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely got some. I think like a medium plus, yeah, lower in the medium plus, high in the medium is what I'm getting at. And also, I mean, this is very typical of Freisa, and then you can also get this in Nebbiolo too, if it's a little bit, if you extract it a little bit long enough. But there is a touch of like a phenolic bitterness on this wine, especially like towards the end. If you guys kind of sit there and wait for it, like all that fruit, there's a touch of that residual sugar. If I had to guess, I don't have the lab data, but if I had to guess, this is probably right around like 5 grams per liter, maybe 6 grams per liter of sugar. Again, all intents and purposes, still dry, but that is higher than what we normally get at like 0.5, 1 grams per liter. Um, there's a touch of a residual sugar here, which I think is really nice here. Gives a really nice balance to that like searing acidity it has here. But at the end of it also, with all that ripe fruit, there's a touch of bitterness that comes in. It can sometimes, again, if you're not careful, these grapes can get quite bitter, especially with this amount of tannin. But the fact that they were able to control that, have get just enough to kind of give that kind of bitter complexity slash balance to the ripe fruit, I think is really lovely. All right, conclusion, take it home for us. How good is this wine? Justify it, and would you age this wine?
So, it can, if you judge very good by just the compilation of everything we just said before, yeah, it'd be very good. Is like a frizzante your thing? I guess within the realm of frizzante, it's probably very good. But it just might not be everyone's cup of tea. but you know, I guess with it, I would suspect within the Frizzante realm, this is like a very good wine.
Well, I mean, whether it's Frizzante or not, like I mean, that's objectively, at least objectively using the grid. Let's talk about that. Like, do you think this wine is balanced? Is there something here that is you think is off balance?
No, I think it's made right. I think it's from that perspective, it's good. It's
Yeah.
I call it very good. Like it's kind of hitting all the right notes.
Yeah, we got the
I
concentration.
I get what they're trying to do. Sorry, the Gestapo's flying over my fucking house right now. Um, but yeah, I call it very good. It's called very good.
Yeah, right. I mean, like the concentration is medium plus on both on the nose and the palate. Um, so right on the edge of like medium, medium plus, but I'm gonna be generous and give it medium plus. The complexity, maybe that's where we go medium, right? Like it's got some flower, it's got some fruit, maybe a couple different types of fruit, maybe some that cherry cola herbaceousness, but really no secondary, no tertiary. Call it medium. Length, we call that medium plus, somewhere again between like right in the medium to medium plus. So yeah, we're landing right in that between medium to medium plus. But yeah, being generous, I'm gonna call this medium plus and call it very good.
Yeah.
Would you age it?
I mean, with the tannins there, yeah, why not? I'd be curious to like see what it does after 5 years. But I'm not familiar with Frizzante, so I don't really know.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
What I don't know if there's like, oh, it goes to shit. You don't, and I don't know anything about it. So,
Right.
but
So
outside of that,
obviously this wine has the acid. This wine, right? We call it medium plus acid. This wine has a tannin. We call it medium plus tannin. So structurally speaking,
yeah, it's they got the right structure there to.
Yeah, we got the
hang out
backbone. It's
for a
not going
bit.
to fall apart. Right. And then even the wine concentration, we call it medium plus. There's plenty of wine, fruit and aromas here for it to develop into others while holding onto the freshness. So structurally speaking, I think this wine can age. I don't think it's going to fall apart anytime soon. Having said that, the fact that this is Frizzante, right? And you rarely ever, the wines that are like meant to be aged for a long time, you rarely ever make it into Frizzante style. Because one, the Frizzante would just blow up over. Like it was not going to stay Frizzante forever. Which tells me, I think the winemaker's intent with this wine is just to give a different kind of a stylistic interpretation of Freisa, just to kind of get people to approach it a little bit different, make it a little fresher, make it a little more approachable, just drink it kind of now kind of style. So to me, I don't think this.
Yeah, is there aged Frizzante out there? Like I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, exactly. Like I don't know of any Astis or Moscatos or Bracchettos that have been aged for a long time. So to me, I don't think this wine is gonna fall apart anytime soon. I think if you really like the sign and want to buy a few bottles and hold on to it, I think that's good, perfectly fine. But in
Which
general,
is weird. I mean, if it's Nebbiolo's cousin, the ultimate aging grape, right? Maybe maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. But to me, what's delicious about this wine is that freshness, especially with that little bit of sugar, touch of the RS, with all that Frizzante. To me, this is like, I mean, the vivace, as I say in Italian right here, it's just like, life is literally what it means. It's just all meant to be just kind of fresh and young and consumed and approachable. So to me, that's why
I'd let it sit for like 3 years. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. Honestly, I don't think anything's gonna happen with these wines with the amount of tannin and amount of acid in this wine. Like this is like indestructible. This wine is not gonna go anywhere. Let's put it that way. But to me, and this is the pairing suggestion that I gave, but like, it definitely needs some food, right? Like, yes, you can still drink it on its own. Like, right, if this is that Frizzante, this was fermented out fully bone dry, I think this wine would be really hard to drink on its own. Right? You definitely need some food.
Wine Club is getting old enough that like we could put our money where our mouth is and be like, let's pull out this wine we all thought would age well 5 years ago and
Yeah,
give it
yeah.
a shot.
I'm gonna
Replay
start.
the recording, be like, I think this can go 5 years, and see who's right.
Yeah, we should start. I should start stashing some away just to see.
Good. One of each per wine club.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, yeah, what I was saying was, yeah, if this wine didn't have that touch of sugar, didn't have that frizzate, and this was fermented out completely bone dry, I think this would be really hard wine to drink on its own. You would definitely need some food, right? Like all that tannin, all that acid. I mean, it would just, yes, there's plenty of fruit out there as well, but it would just be too much structural kind of attack on your system. So by putting that little bit of sugar, by putting that little frizzate, it's almost like, yeah, you can almost have it as a aperitif, like a cocktail option, almost even.
Hence your Thanksgiving suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, like, for me, this is like cheese and charcuterie king, like a little bit of sugar with the salty cheese, salty meats, like all of that. And it's not anything serious here. Like, this is not meant to be some thinking cerebral wine. This is really more for just pure sheer deliciousness and hedonistic pleasure of drinking wine. And to me, this is exactly that. Like, it's not trying to be the Nebbiolo. It's not trying to be Barolo. It's not trying to be Barbaresco.
Yeah.
It's trying to showcase that you can also be playful and youthful and young. It's basically what it's trying to show.
I had some leftover Greek, like halloumi and some French
Yeah,
fries and Brussels sprouts. It was so yummy.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, exactly.
It was like perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, salty grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
It was really good.
Excellent. Did you guys like this one, by the way? Just out of curiosity?
Mhm.
How do you guys feel about this one?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it. I need to go pour another glass because I just had the one and I opened it like right while I was eating a steak 10 minutes into when you guys started. It's just like, oh, this is like not quite right.
I was curious how this wine was going to hit. I feel like this wine is going to split the room. It could be polarizing. Just because, I don't know. Americans are a little weird about a little bit of sugar. It's not that sweet. It's not sweet. It's still dry. But, but okay. All right. Well, let's play everybody's favorite game.
Oh, gosh.
How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf?
Mm-hmm.
It's from Piedmont, right? But it's a kind of a underappreciated, lesser known grape. It's not meant to be aged for a long time. It's just meant for immediate consumption, for joy. How much do you think it is? All right. 24, 25, 22, 30, 25, 25, 50. And the answer is 1950.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, at 1950 for under $20, I think this is a fantastic.
What?
I like it a lot more than I did 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I felt kind of neutral about it, but now that I know the price, I like it quite a bit, actually.
Clearly have no idea how to price wine.
I mean, there's no, after having worked in wine for, close to 15 years at this point, there's no other field that is full
This
of
is like 19, really?
This is under $20.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why also the fact that this is a direct import by somebody who's in Baltimore. So that also helps a lot. I mean, if they were to sell this in California, it would be more expensive, obviously, because it comes through Baltimore. But yeah, in general, like for under $20 bottle with this much quality, we call it very good. It's gonna withstand at least 3 to 5 years, no problem. You can drink it now, you can lay it down. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I can say a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, since the theme of this month is Thanksgiving, like, what do you guys think about this wine in terms of serving its role on the Thanksgiving day? Like, do you think you would drink this on Thanksgiving table? You think would you drink this like when would you want to drink this? Or would you not want to drink this in Thanksgiving? For you, this is not a Thanksgiving wine.
I think beforehand, like you said in the email, makes most sense. I don't know if it's like a real thing, but I feel like it's too much tannin for the dinner itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's got some tannin for sure. It's got some grip. I do worry about that too. But in general, the flavor wise, I think this plays well with Thanksgiving flavors. Thanksgiving meal is also table is one of these occasions where I actually don't mind like a little bit of residual sugar in the wine. I actually think it plays well with the type of food that's on the table. So yeah, I agree. This much tannin with the turkey, I don't know. I'm not sure. It may be too much, but I think it'd be okay.
I think this would be awesome with like a pate, like a dense ass pate before hors d'oeuvres and stuff. This would be great.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is like the ultimate like a pate, cured meats, cheese board kind of wine thing. Like afternoon snack.
Big charcuterie.
Yeah, exactly. Big charcuterie, just.
We did a cheese dessert tonight, like just had cheese with this tonight, like after dinner, and it's a great pairing.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. Cool. Well, excellent. There you go, folks. Bringing you some under $20 options for Thanksgiving. Any questions? Any objections? I actually thought I was going to get at least a few people that are like, "Oh, I hate this one."
You thought I was going to hate it?
No. Just some people.
Oh no, I liked it a lot.
Okay. All right,
Charles. I'm glad that I was 38 and you were 50.
Wait, you call 50, Charles?
No, he said 25.50.
Oh, it was
25.50.
God, I'm sorry. I saw that. I was like, what?
I was like, damn, you like this wine that much, huh, Charles?
I did not.
Can you imagine
a whole lot for $50?
Right? I was just like, what? So yeah, my B was supposed to be a slash. Sorry.
Un would have to like us a whole lot to start sticking $50 bottles into the box as well.
Yeah, that'd be I have. In fact, last time we did Piedmont box.
You messed up the Barolo. That was a great mistake.
That Barolo was like a $50-some bottle.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Lost my shirt on that one, but I had to make it up with a Mary Taylor month, the month after. So. Any other questions? Have you guys had Freisa before? Just out of curiosity. How many of you guys have had Freisa before?
I have not had it.
I don't think so.
It's a really like charming grape. I really like it a lot. Again, I've not had a lot of it, but every time I come across it, I'm like, I should drink more Freisa. It's just fun. It's just like a little charmer. It's cute.
It's good.
That really was cheese. Anyways, I'm going to turn off this recording now.